Oaks, the Honourable Andrew Scheer.
Well, thank you very much, Scott. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Dan. Bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening,
What
everyone.
an incredible 3 years. I have been so honored to serve as leader of the Conservative Party of Canada and as leader of the official opposition in the House of Commons, leading our amazing team. Je suis très honoré d'avoir été
I'm
chef
very
du
honored
parti
to have
et de
been
l'opposition
leader of the
officielle à la
party
Chambre des
and
députés
official
et
opposition
diriger
in the
notre
House of Commons
excellente
and
équipe.
lead our excellent team.
Looking back on where we started in 2017 and all that we have accomplished together, I am struck by the determination, strength, and resilience of our party. In 2017, no one thought we could win the next election. The media establishment was predicting that Justin Trudeau would easily win 2 or maybe even 3 majority governments. He would be prime minister for as long as he wanted. But we rolled up our sleeves and reminded voters that Conservatives are the only party fighting for hardworking Canadians. The fact that anyone even considered the 2019 election winnable is because of the incredible success of our entire team. And while we didn't get the result we all would have liked, we did reduce the Trudeau government to a minority and formed the strongest opposition in Canadian history. There are so many people I would like to thank. First off, my House leadership, and shadow cabinet, and caucus teams. Merci pour vos conseils.
Thank you
et
for
votre
your
soutien
counsel
pendant
and your
mon mandat.
support during my mandate.
One of the most frustrating parts of not forming government is stopping to think about what a great group of ministers we would have had if we had won. I know that Canadians would have been far better served during this pandemic had there been a Conservative government in power. And I look forward to the many great things that our next Conservative team will accomplish. J'aimerais aussi remercier
I would also like to
Joan
thank
Bayless,
Joan
Hamish
Bayless,
Marshall,
Hamish Marshall, Kenzie
Marc-André
Potter,
Leclerc,
Marc-Andre
et
Leclerc,
toute l'équipe qui
and the
m'ont
whole team
encouragé
that
à me
encouraged
présenter comme
me
chef, qui
to
sont
run
restés à mes
for
côtés.
leader and who stayed at my
Ça a
side.
parfois été difficile,
It was
mais je
sometimes
ne peux pas
difficult,
imaginer
but I
une
can't
meilleure
imagine
groupe de personnes
a better
pour le
group of
faire.
people to do.
To the Office of the Leader of the Opposition and party headquarter teams, thank you for all your hard work over the past 3 years and throughout this leadership race. I know that the new leader will be in good hands with all of you. I'd also like to thank our entire Conservative caucus, National Council, Party President Scott Lamb, and all of our thousands and thousands of party members and volunteers. Each of you contribute so much to our movement and are vital to our success. But most of all, I would like to thank my incredible wife, Jill, for her love and support, without which none of this would have been possible. Jill, I love you so much. Thank you for all the sacrifice that you and the kids made over the past few years. I can honestly say that I have never been prouder to be a Conservative or to be a Canadian. La pandémie nous a mis au défi.
The pandemic has challenged us, and it also showed the best side of Canadians across the country. Neighbors helping one another, businesses finding ways to serve their clients, and loved ones getting together to celebrate important events virtually. During this challenge, our team focused on aid to Canadians.
We have improved the government's response to the pandemic and have never backed down in our fight to keep our parliament open during this crisis. As we look forward to the recovery, Canadians will be faced with a fundamental choice. You see, the left is offering the same failed policies that they always do. Bigger government, more government intervention, and less individual freedom. Mais un gouvernement plus gros et plus
But
omniprésent
bigger,
nuit.
more omnipresent government harms people.
The lie of the left is that the very people they claim they want to help are hurt the most by their policies. They pretend to be motivated by compassion, but there's nothing compassionate about big government intervention. Ever increasing intervention in the marketplace rewards big corporations who can afford expensive government relations experts. New rules and laws make labor costs so expensive that low-income workers and new entrants into the workforce lose their jobs first. And little by little, fundamental rights and freedoms are eroded. In the 1980s, the Soviet bloc and Eastern European countries all had the same rhetoric. Their policies were supposed to help the poor and promote equality. The exact same rhetoric that the left is using today. But all it caused was misery. Le défi pour les conservateurs aujourd'hui.
The challenge for conservatives today is that many people do not understand the free market economy of freedom, individual freedom, limited government, and more individual choice.
Today's voters didn't grow up. Many of today's voters didn't grow up watching the wall come down or looking at the bread lines in East Berlin. So we, as a party, need to constantly be looking for new ways to make the case for the core conservative principles we all believe in: freedom, limited government, and unlimited potential. Our values and ideals have stood the test of time. For generations, they have guided Canadians through adversity, and they will once again. See, the Liberals are all candy before supper. They make superficial promises and hope you don't blame them for the consequences. Then, all you're left with is a stomachache and a serious case of buyer's remorse. Conservatives, on the other hand, we believe in a balanced meal. We look at the whole picture, and we see the harm and the misery that the policies of the left cause. The Liberals put all their faith in government. They believe that bigger government and more state intervention will somehow solve all of the world's problems. Conservatives fight for those who don't have powerful lobbyists getting insider deals. We fight for the men and women who don't have well-connected friends in Ottawa, who are too busy raising their families and working hard to attend the cocktail circuit. We are your voice. But the biggest risk to freedom and liberty is when people empower government to do more and more for them. It may be tempting to use the government to address the challenges society often faces, but once invited inside, the government is a terrible house guest. It may feel good to vote in a party that is going to overstep the limits of government in order to do something you agree with. However, that invitation is quickly used to justify all sorts of actions you might never have considered. It is far better to keep government within strictly defined limits and leave the rest of society to fulfill its proper role. That is why conservatives put their faith in people. We know that there is more to society than just government, and that free people within a free market, working hard and enjoying the fruits of their labor, free to express themselves and live their lives the way they want. That is the recipe for success every single place it's been tried. When given a choice between societies where governments control more and more of their citizens' lives and those where freedom and opportunity are protected, people will always choose freedom. After all, no one ever got shot trying to jump the wall to get into East Berlin or paddle the raft to get to Cuba. We don't even have to go back into the past to see these examples. We just need to look at the mess happening right now in Venezuela and all the tragedy that it is causing. Vous savez, c'est aux conservateurs de transmettre ce message.
It's up to conservatives to transmit this message. For us, an election, a guaranteed election does not exist.
At a time when the establishment elites are doing everything they can to defeat us, at a time when dozens of groups like Lead Now and Unifor pay millions of dollars to run ads against us and bash our policies, at a time when the mainstream media bias in this country has never been more clear. In times like this, it is up to the Conservative Party to unite Canadians instead of allowing the left to divide Canadians. At a time when when young people have never been taught the value of those free market principles, where they've actually been taught that there's something wrong with free markets and individual liberty. In times like these, it is even more important for every single conservative to stay united and do everything you can to work together to spread our message of hope. So it doesn't matter what kind of conservative you are. Our party needs all of you, and we need you to go out and find more people who share our beliefs. Please stay involved, be bold, think, challenge the mainstream media. Don't take their narrative as fact. Check out smart, independent, objective organizations that are growing all the time, like the Post-Millennial or True North. There are other places to get information. Let's stop being the silent majority. Don't be afraid to challenge leftist professors or public figures. Millions of Canadians share our conservative values. They just don't all know it yet. Now, I know that we can win the next election. Quand je suis devenu chef du parti en 2017,
when I became the party leader in 2017, we had 99 seats.
I am leaving the next leader with 121 amazing MPs from coast to coast. In 2015, we won around 31% of the vote. In 2019, we won 34.4%, won the popular vote, and formed the strongest opposition in Canadian history. I'm also proud to say tonight that the party, the Conservative Party of Canada, is officially debt-free. We are in an excellent position, but we cannot be complacent. Our party's unity has been tested in the past, and media love nothing more than writing about disgruntled Conservatives. So we cannot give them that opportunity. For the last few months, the different candidates and their supporters have been highlighting the differences between them. After tonight, let's all come together and focus on the things that unite us. We must stay squarely concentrated on working together and focusing on the many things we share in common.
The differences between the Liberals and the Conservatives have never been clearer. They use a crisis to reward their friends. We focus on aid to Canadians who are working hard.
Where they will use the pandemic as an excuse to reward their friends, Conservatives will clean up their corruption. Where they will play the politics of envy, we will spread a message of hope and opportunity. Where they will attack our energy sector, we will champion it and celebrate the prosperity it creates for all Canadians. Where they will demonize people for having different views on issues facing Canadians, we will not attack people for their deeply held positions, but instead look to find the common ground.
While they lead a federation focused on Ottawa, we will respect provincial jurisdictions and the Quebec nation.
And when they let Canadians down, as they always do, we will be ready to offer them a Conservative government that puts people first. And after tonight, let's all rally behind the new leader and do everything we can to make sure that the next leader of the Conservative Party becomes the next Prime Minister of this great country. Serving in this role has been the greatest honor of my professional life. I want to thank all the members, all the volunteers, the member of our fantastic team so much. This has been such an honor. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for all the support that you've given to me and my family, and we will get them in the next election. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.